Cloudcast Media. Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.
I'm Drew Schlosberg with Cloudcast Media. You're going to be listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show. We're doing a special remote from the MCRD Museum. We are honored to have joining us as Lieutenant Colonel Natalie Lamb. She's the commanding officer for 1st Recruit Training Battalion at MCRD. How you doing, Natalie?
Doing great. Thank you.
Very good. Doing fine. Anytime I'm in this museum, it just energizes me, as you heard in previous interviews. Joined by your colleague and our colleague, and Jim Crooney. He's the community liaison from MCRD. And Jim, always appreciate you joining us. Natalie, how long have you been in the Marines?
In the Marine Corps,
Yeah.
I commissioned in 2008 from the Naval Academy.
Okay.
So since then.
Okay. And you've been here on base for how long?
I checked in May of 2025 and took command on June 23rd of 2025. So,
Right.
Yes, sir.
Talk about the command. What's the command about?
So the command, so it's 1st Recruit Training Battalion. So we have drill instructors, officers in charge of making Marines. We've got 4 companies, Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, and Delta. So those are my training companies, all led by company grade officers and first sergeant and their team of series commanders. And of course, chief drill instructors, senior drill instructors, and all the staff that goes into making a Marine. Actually, this morning we started with the battalion headquarters doing a good brisk PT on the track, running 3 miles and getting some good PT in between. But the battalion, our main mission is again in support of the overall mission of making our next generation of Marines and imbuing them with the core values of honor, courage, and commitment, and making better citizens for our nation, right? So that we can go out and win our nation's battles.
So when you were first commissioned and you thought about, here you are in the Naval Academy and who knows what they'll be doing, you knew some idea what you're going to be doing. Did you think you'd be doing this job?
No, sir. So I enlisted in the Navy in 1999. And so I first entered the military through the Navy,
Right.
Went to Navy boot camp in 2000. And then along the way, just was motivated by certain officers and senior enlisted leaders in my chain of command. And I said, I want to be an officer. And so then started that whole process. In 2003, I was accepted to go to the Naval Academy Prep School. 2004, attended the Naval Academy. In 2008, I commissioned Marines into the Marine Corps. And the reason for commissioning the Marine Corps was because of the impact of the Marines on me when I was deployed for Operation Iraqi Freedom in 2003. It was just a different family, a different feeling that they gave you. And I wanted to do that. And so when I had the opportunity to do that, back in 2003, or 2008 before commissioning, I said, yeah, let's go for it. And then I was blessed with the opportunity to be here today. So yes, I wouldn't have seen myself here, and I'm truly blessed to have made it this far.
Yeah, exactly. Jim?
Hey, can you tell us what did you do in the Navy? What was your job in the Navy? And then when you came in the Marine Corps,
Yes, sir.
what was your MOS before you started doing some recruiting and recruit training?
Okay. So I enlisted as a radio man. And then the jobs merged. Radio man and DP, a data processor, merged and made IT. So I was an information systems technician in the Navy. Communications, whether shipboard or on shore. And then from there, from the academy, I commissioned from TBS, the basic school in Quantico, I commissioned as a communications officer. So I am a communications officer by trade, running whether it's data, wire, transmission systems, and helping architect networks to support whether garrison or deployed networks in support of whatever missions required. And I think that was it.
Yeah, that's it. and then what first brought you to the depot?
Oh, my first time to the depot, I checked in here in 2018, and I was working as the assistant operations officer for the recruit training regiment, just ensuring day-to-day operations of the recruit training schedule. All of our visitors that came to the depot in all kinds of shapes and forms, and supporting educators' workshops and all those endeavors that we do, as well as the community outreach events that we have, which the depot is really, really great at hosting. And then from there, I transferred over after my first year in the regiment. I transferred over to, I had the opportunity to go to drill instructor school. And so I was the director of drill instructor school for about a year before I was selected to go on recruiting.
How was that experience?
Absolutely amazing. Well, my entire time up until 2018 in the Marine Corps, my goal was to get to a depot. It was just, there's just this feeling when you walk in through the gate and you see the buildings and you hear the cadence calling and you see the training and you see the level of professionalism and drive and just love and care that goes into everybody here, from the support staff to just everybody. And I just wanted to be part of that. And so for years, like every time with the monitor, trying to get orders to come out here. And then when it finally happened, it was just like, it was a dream job. And then when I got to DI school, I was not expecting it. I had said, yes, I would love to do it, just from being here and watching the professionalism, the drive, the impact that those individuals make on our recruits.
They make Marines.
Yes, sir. I was just like, I really want to be part of that team. And then I was surrounded by the best of the best, right? We already have the best of the best coming here to become drill instructors. And I have the best of the best coming to be my instructors, and just learning from them. And it just pushes you every single day to just be better, just be a better human, be a better leader, be a better friend. And so it was just absolutely phenomenal. So I'm still extremely grateful to be.
Yeah, Jim, it's too bad that, Natalie's not too enthusiastic about her job. Lieutenant Colonel Natalie Lamb, she's the commanding officer, 1st Recruit Training Battalion for MCRD San Diego. I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media, listening to a special remote of our Spotlight on the Community show here at MCRD Museum, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union. 60 great years of doing wonderful things to people living in San Diego County. Also joined by my colleague, Jim Grunier. He is the community liaison for MCRD. Okay, so now you're doing the DI instructor training, right? And where do you go from there?
I went to recruiting station Fort Worth, Texas, in Fort Worth, under the 8th Marine Corps District. And I was out there from May of 2020 till June of 2023, and got to experience and cover down on 77,000 square miles in Texas.
Wow.
So north central Texas, all the way down to Georgetown and College Station, all the way up into Oklahoma. So a good swath of America. And that in itself was also, I have nothing but great things to say about recruiting. It was an absolutely amazing opportunity, and I do miss it. I was actually asked by a colleague yesterday, do you miss it? I said, I do.
What part do you miss the most?
It was really the involvement with the community. Because I'd say as a Marine, especially on a normal base or installation, you come in, you do your job, you train, you prepare, you do all the things that you do, and then at the end of the day, you go home. And you may or may not interact with your neighbors and friends. You might go do some social things. Recruiting, the whole time you're interacting. You're always on the job, but you're always out there amongst the people and meeting all those educators, leaders, coaches, just anybody who can influence the youth of America. Right, it was incredible listening to their stories, listening especially to the young men and women that end up joining and coming to become Marines, listening to where they grew up, seeing where they grew up, meeting their families, working through problems, and you're dealing with life with them. And so all of that is just a very humbling experience and something not to take lightly. So that's what I miss the most about it.
And Jimmy, you can add to this also. Talk about what would you say is the trait that you value the most, that you have, that makes you good in the world of recruiting?
Well, I'd say there's many. I'd say the number one thing is that I would tell my recruiters is patience. You're not always going to get a yes. And you're not going to get a yes for more times than not. You're not going to get a yes on that first phone call or that first door knock or that first school classroom talk. But it's persistence and patience. A lot of it comes down to how are you talking to these individuals, and building that trust and confidence in that person, because it's not an easy decision either. You're asking for a young man or woman to put their life on the line, possibly, if that is what is asked of them. You're asking them to make a plan for the next at least 4 to 6, 7 years, whatever the contract length is. And it's not easy. And you're also having to, again, have that conversation with the family, with the friends, with everybody that influences that individual person. So yes, you want that individual to say, yes, I want to do this right now. But you don't want to push it. You want to take your time, be patient, because we're also looking for that right person, right? Because you want that right person who understands what they're getting into, who understands the opportunity as well as the challenge that they're about to be faced with. And eventually it'll come together. And that's what makes it so special, right? Because sometimes it takes a while.
It just seems, Jim, and you can add to this as well. So you got to be leader, you got to be communicator, you got to be a little psychologist, you got to be, a parent, sister, brother, aunt, uncle, dog lover, whatever the case may be, all wrapped in one, because each one of those recruits is very different, correct?
Oh, no doubt. And I think what Natalie, screams to me who she is and what impresses me, and I think it's important for any good Marine, is a combination of sincerity, humility, and care. You have to care for what you're doing, care for who you're doing it for. You have to be sincere. On the recruiting side of the house, you're not just selling a product. You're not going out there and trying to say, hey, join the Marine Corps. You believe. You're trying to do your best for that young individual to come in. And enable that individual to be the best that he or she can be. And when you do that in a sincere way, because you love the Marine Corps, like Natalie does, and you appreciate what it can do, I think it kind of sells itself. So what you're really doing is just interacting with the public and letting them know about the Marine Corps so that they can have that opportunity to join what, in my opinion, is the best organization in the world.
Well, I know it's Natalie's, and she discovered that, early on in this area, and we all know that, job one, what you guys do, it's the mission, you make Marines. You got a pretty good track record of doing that because you certainly spend a lot of time on what goes into that, making of the Marine, to say the least. And, Jim has shown us so many different ways that happens. Is there a story that just jumps out at you that someone, I think you wrote it down on your notes here, of a person that just wasn't quite doing it well in the physical aspect of it, but turned it around?
Oh, of course. There's many.
There's probably 4 million of those.
Of course, yes, sir. Every day. Even like yesterday, I had another one. But I'll go with the one that I had selected. It was, just recently, actually, now it's been, I think, 16 weeks ago, at the initial strength test for Charlie Company. There's a female recruit who's running the IST, and we're coming down to the wire, and I know she's not going to make the run time. It's just not happening. And so I'm picking up a few of the stragglers, and this one Marine, this recruit, well, now Marine, she's having a tough time. And so I pick her up, and my whole goal is just to get her to get across that finish line. I just need you to get across that finish line. At this point, it doesn't really matter what the time is, just get across it. So as we're running, I'm trying not to talk to her too much, but I ask her name and where she's from. And so she tells me, I'm like, all right, here we go. It's you and me. Catch that next person in front of you. Catch that next person. And so we start pushing and she's catching people. She gets over the line. She barely has any, air left in her lungs to say anything to me. And I tell her, great job. And she walks off, and I watch her, and she gets put in the group of individuals who have to get, spoken to about, their deficiencies and not having passed it. I have the opportunity as a battalion commander to, as I'm out there at the initial strength test for all of my companies when we pick up new recruits, to have that conversation with the support battalion commander and his staff to say, hey, I want to take this individual into training. And so for her, there was just something about her drive and her dedication, her professionalism, even when she couldn't catch her breath at the end, that I was like, I want her on the team. I want to give her a chance. Like, I'm willing to work with her as she is. So I went up to her and I said, if I give you a chance, excuse me, would you like to go into training? And she said, yes, ma'am, please. Well, fast forward, sadly, I lost track of her a little bit. And then I ran into her at the Reaper. And I was going around congratulating all the new Marines now for Charlie Company. This was on January 1st, so it was awesome. Happy New Year.
Can you talk about what the Reaper is and what that occasion is?
The Reaper is the culminating event. And at the top of the Reaper, we do the Eagle Globe and Ankle ceremony. So it's at the end of 54 hours, what we call the Crucible.
Right.
That's the culminating event, and where the recruit now becomes a Marine. And it's that last massive milestone in which they are now a Marine. And it's extremely moving for everybody. You'll see drill instructors out there having these very heartfelt conversations with each one of those Marines. And again, encouraging them and echoing all the hardships that they went through and what they've accomplished, right? And so at that event, I'm going around congratulating the new Marines, platoon by platoon. And I get to our female platoon, and I see this one Marine. She's like moving around a little bit, and I look at her, and I'm like, oh my gosh. And I see her, I'm like, you're here. She's like, yes, ma'am, I'm here because of you. And at that moment, I was like, it's not because of me, it's because of you. You did this. Now I'm getting emotional. But at graduation, I had the opportunity to see her parents, and talking to her parents, it was phenomenal.
Well, it was you and her. It was a team, and that's how this works. Marines, you guys are one for all and all for one, and that's anyone who spends any time talking about Marines. And it's not that they don't do that in the Navy or the Coast Guard and all that business. I just happen to hear it more from the Marines, of course, and no surprise to you folks. So here these folks are. Okay, you successfully recruited them to become a Marine. They're standing on the footsteps or whatever the case may be. They're not into the Marine. They're civilian. And now what's day one like for you guys and for those folks who are going through training?
Well, so day one, recruits day one when they get on the yellow footprints is probably actually it's a long day.
That's right.
A lot of processing, medical paperwork, all the admin, and that falls on my counterpart, Lieutenant Colonel Burton, his team, support battalion, and the receiving team. It's stay on for those 5 days, Monday through Friday. They start getting Marines, new recruits, at around 1900 is the first bus arrival, and all night long. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and it just keeps going. But yeah, so they'll go through all their administrative processes, issuing of gear, all those things, basics of marching, how to, just the basics, very basics. And then Friday is the culmination with the initial strength test. Usually it's depending on season, but around 6 o'clock in the morning, we start that. And it's pull-ups, planks, and then the run. And then from there, that's when we get the final number of who's coming into training. And that's when the battalion steps in. And that afternoon, Friday afternoons, the staff walks out, we pick them up, walk them off to the squad base, or march them off to the squad base. And then when we get to the squad base, their senior drill instructor comes out. And that's one of the most epic moments, is being able to sit in that room and listen. And it's usually 6 platoons, so 6 different speeches, or same speech, different person. But you watch these individuals, and this is our first impact for the recruits to see who their senior drill instructor is going to be and who the team that's going to be training them is going to be. So many of them are very nervous.
When did they make that phone call home? I've watched too many YouTube things on this. Right?
That's after the yellow footprints and they get ushered in. Right. They'll go through the first room and do a quick contraband just to make sure that we don't have any illegal items, substances, all those things, making sure they're tracking their money valuables, all those things, so that we're properly accounting for everything. And then at the end of that, they take them and they'll start having those first phone calls home. So that's probably within the first 45 minutes, hour of being here. They will make that phone call home. Yeah.
Right. I remember that phone call home? You didn't have to do that, or did you?
I didn't have to do that particular phone call. I've seen that phone call many times when I was in uniform, and I can tell you it's a one-way phone call. You don't allow.
There's no conversation.
No, not at all.
When you do your banking with Mission Fed, you get great rates on auto and home loans. That's good for you, but something good also happens for a lot of other people. We're not for profit, so we put money back into the community to help lots of great nonprofits to keep San Diego strong. So you're not just getting something good, you're doing something good. Come to Mission Fed. It's banking that's good for all.
Brand amplification is the DNA of Cloudcast Media, and our code is the powerful blending of sound, voice, and storytelling to lift local brands and their communities. Whether it is our Brandcast, Schoolcast, or Causecast platforms, the unifying ethos is all about this community, the one you call home. If you dare to dream and want to explore the brand amplification of Cloudcast, a national leader in local podcasting and other Winfluence strategies, please visit us at cloudcast.us.
Yeah, I know you tell them what's going on. We're chatting with Lieutenant Colonel Natalie Lamb. She's the commanding officer, 1st Recruit Training Battalion, MCRD, San Diego, joined by her colleague Jim Grooney, Community Liaison for MCRD. I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media, listening to a special remote of the Spotlight on the Community Show, nation's longest-running community podcast, here at this beautiful MCRD museum. And our show is brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, 6 decades of doing great things in the community. And I know you're going to handle this question so easily. Okay, so for the folks that are out there going, man, that's pretty compelling to become a Marine. Okay, if anybody has a doubt, they're on the fence. What do you say to them? You're ready to join the Marines.
So had a lot of that on recruiting. So I'd say, I mean, it's just a series of questions of if you want to challenge, if you want to change your future, if you want to make an impact, if you want to be able to come back to your community and maybe be a leader in your community, a leader in your home, a leader for your family. You want a higher purpose, come join us. Right? That's it. At the end of the day, when I look at the Marine Corps, it's an opportunity. I look at it as servant leadership. It's how can you give back? Yes, a lot of it is invested in you to begin with. You gotta take a lot in the beginning to acclimate, to get rid of the bad habits, to break those old trends, and really understand the core values, understand that this is a calling for you to something higher. Again, it really comes down to the team and what you're doing for the nation, right? For those who don't have a voice to speak up, for those who can't stand up for themselves, for the defense of the nation, to make a better world, all those things. Like, if you want that, come join us.
I imagine. So for the folks that you've seen, like that example from that young woman, okay, and you had tears in your eye on that. There's probably a lot of stories like that in your area. The ones I bet you've seen 100 times where someone said, "I am so glad you convinced me to join the Marines." Okay, do you hear that a lot?
Yes, I think I do, and every time it's the same effect where it's like, I thank you. I'm humbled for that. But again, it comes down to that individual. It's like you found that you pushed through that obstacle. You proved to yourself that you could do this. The challenges and struggles that you went through, you did. And so I like to, not so much, I'm appreciative of their gratefulness, but at the same time, it's like, you did this,
Two-way street.
It is. But there's so many stories, right? And even for our drill instructors, we always tell them at the end of the cycle, hey, when that new Marine comes up to you after graduation and says, "Can I take a picture with you?" Make sure you take that picture. You take that picture.
You make a real good point that you be very mindful of taking care of the recruiting force, the drill instructor and his or her family in this. Talk about how important that is.
It's extremely vital. Our families, and family, as you classify it, as whether it's a significant other, spouse, extended family, dog, cat, fish, whatever it may be, right? We have our different forms of family, but at the end of the day, it's like making sure that they're fully involved. We communicate with them. We include them, because at the end of the day, that Marine needs that support, because especially both recruiting and drill instructor duty, they're special duty assignments that demand a lot of the individual, both mentally or all across the spectrum, mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally. You think about it, it's there. And so having that core to fall back to or fall back on, and knowing that you're supported is pivotal. So, having the Marines being able to take a time out to spend with their family and their loved ones is extremely pivotal. And where we can, we will make it happen. Yes, sir. So
the position you're in now, Commanding Officer, 1st Recruit Training Battalion here at MCRD San Diego, is it a 1 year, 2 year, 3 year lifetime? What is the footprint, so to speak, in the runway?
I wish it could be a lifetime, but it's so good. It's 2 years.
Right.
So I'll be rotating in 2027.
And will you be in the same position and going to a different part, or are you going to be going somewhere else, or hard to say?
I will be going to somewhere else.
Okay.
I don't know where yet.
Right.
That's currently trying to work that out with the monitor. So
yeah. No, I get this. What can we do to support your efforts personally and the folks that are in your world?
I would say, just ask questions, right? Watch the videos, especially for those individuals who are kind of on the fence of, do I want to do this? Do I want to not? Go in and talk to the recruiter and ask those hard questions. That's what they're trained to answer. And if they can't answer it, we'll find somebody who will answer the question. And just, I would say, again, the community here, especially in San Diego, is just so receptive, so welcoming, and so supportive already. It's kind of hard to ask for more. And so for that, I'm just extremely grateful, just for the entire military here in San Diego. So.
Right. Well, Lieutenant Colonel Natalie Lamb, you are a delight to talk to. Your passion absolutely oozes out of you. Your excitement, your enthusiasm, everything, the emotion. You are the perfect person for what you're doing right now, and you will continue to be that no matter where you're going to go in the Marine Corps. We're honored to have you share your story. Jim, any final comments?
Hey, only that I'm so happy Natalie was able to come here. She is a stellar example of a Marine, is knocking it out of the park in the job she's at now. So she's, and you really don't know where you're going to go from here, but in all likelihood, somebody of her caliber is going to go to top level school, which we reserve for some of our top Marines. She'll be put in a meaningful position, and she'll be a colonel here in a few years. Yeah,
absolutely. Who knows? General, maybe. Who knows? Right. We can say we knew her when. Is that right?
That's right.
Exactly. Well, thank you so much, Natalie, for joining us.
Thank you. It was an honor. Thank you.
I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media. You've been listening to a special edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community show here at the MCRD Museum, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union. Thank you, as always, Jim Grooney, for joining us, and to our audience, we hope you enjoyed the interview.
You've been listening to an episode of Drew Schlosberg's Spotlight on the Community show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego community. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.
Cloudcast Media.